This is the EWN Podcast Network.
Welcome to Late Boomers, our podcast guide to creating your third act with style, power, and impact. Hi, I'm Kathy Worthington.
And I'm Mary Elkins. Join us as we bring you conversations with successful entrepreneurs, entertainers, and people with vision who are making a difference in the world.
Everyone has a story, and we'll take you along for the ride on each interview, recounting the journey our guests have taken to get where they are, inspiring you to create your own path to success. Let's get started. Hello, I'm Kathy Worthington. Welcome to our latest episode of Late Boomers. Our guest today is Chancellor K. Jackson, best-selling author, educator, coach, publisher, and entrepreneur. His first book, 14 Days in Beijing, has ranked #1 more than 15 times in multiple genres.
And I'm Mary Elkins. Chancellor has also released additional books, including a romance saga about a man's first step towards gaining emotional intelligence titled You Love and Learn, as well as Real Love Never Dies, both of them from the Lucky Chance series of books published by Korleh Publications. But his own story has taken him on a journey most people could never imagine, and we're excited to talk about it. Welcome, Chancellor. We're so glad to have you.
Oh, for sure. Blessings and balance to both of you. Blessings and balance to everyone that's tuning in right now. Big shout out to y'all. Y'all the real MVPs for sure.
Thank you.
Thank you. And would you tell us a little bit about your background and your journey and how you came to find yourself on the path you're on today? And were there any mentors in your life that helped you along the way or that sort of thing?
For sure. Chancellor K. Jackson, born and raised in Atlanta, Georgia. Played football vast majority of my life. So that was a huge component to just developments of me as an individual. Got to play all throughout high school and earned the opportunity to play D1 football down at Stetson University down in Florida,
Oh,
where I've obtained my bachelor's degree in communication and media studies. So what we're doing right now is slick my cup of tea. But
mm-hmm.
I landed my first job, ironically, teaching English to children in China. So that's how I ended up in Beijing. And I was out there for 6 months total. I was supposed to do a year, but things hit the fan halfway through, and I was arrested and served 14 days in the Beijing penitentiary. And once I was released, I was immediately deported from the country, came back to America, and was just that's one all over again, trying to figure out how I was going to bounce back from taking this L and just stayed in education, fell into coaching football, started writing 14 Days in Beijing. And once I published 14 Days, things really catapulted for me. And so here I am now and I wear a lot of different hats. I got a lot
You,
going on.
you sure
Great.
do. And I'd like to talk about your book, 14 Days in Beijing. Please tell us what it's about. And I have to say, I listened to the audiobook and it's really terrific. I was totally mesmerized.
I appreciate it. I appreciate it. So 14 Days in Beijing is about my last 14 days in China.
Mm-hmm.
I entered China on October 10th, 2018. On April 4th, 2019, things took a turn.
Yeah.
I was in my apartment getting ready to head to an event to meet some colleagues and friends and before I went, I was like, hey, I'm a pregame. So for those that don't know what pregaming is, say you and some friends or family members, whoever, finna go out on a night full of festivities. And before y'all head out, we like, hey, let's meet at so-and-so house first. We're gonna turn up there and then gonna go out and have even more fun. So I'm in the apartment by myself, drinking some Chinese wine coolers, smoking some cannabis on my little silver pipe, and get dressed, making sure I got everything before I walk out the door. And that's where I heard 3 knocks. Here's to see who it is, because guests aren't unfamiliar. I looked through the peephole and there stood 3 officers from the Beijing police. So instantly I'm spooked, sick to my stomach, like, oh, what they doing here? So I scramble, put everything up, open the door. They walk in, they question me about drugs. Now, like I said earlier, I'm from Atlanta. Atlanta is known as the city of finesse. You live by the finesse, you die by the finesse. So he questioned me about drugs. I'm sitting there playing the fool like I had no clue what he's talking about. Um, I even try to take it a step further and divert the conversation, bringing up my documents like my visa and passport. Like, you know what I'm saying? Trying to bring that up. Like, you got me confused with somebody else. Let me go grab my documentation, show you who I am and what type of time I'm on. I don't know what you talking about. You know what I'm saying? Just trying to finesse the situation. So I go grab everything, bring it to him to look over. He sits down. The other two officers, they're just scoping the apartment out. Nothing too crazy, just walking around, got wandering eyes. Um, a few minutes pass, another officer enters the apartment. He has something in his hand. I can't make heads or tails what it is. And he hands the item to the officer that's looking over my documents. And then that officer communicates to me to pin to the cup. So it was a drug test right there on the spot. And right then and there, I was like, oh yeah, it's over with. It's over with. So do the drug test, fail the drug test, of course. And now it's about 8 officers in the apartment. They ransacking the place. One officer in particular speaks English fluently. He's questioning me about failing the drug test, where I got the weed from, if I had any more, when's the last time I smoked. He was saying blah, blah, blah. Now, like I said earlier, you live by the finesse, you die by the finesse. So mind you, I'm panicking. It's the fog of war. The moment is big. I'm still high. So every question this officer is posing to me, the first thing that come to my mind, I'm just blurting out. I ain't really thinking too much of it. And it got to a point within the interrogation where I was catching myself in my own lie. So I'm like, he more than likely is catch me in this same lie. But you live by the finesse, you die by the finesse. So
You know what I'm saying? I die by the finesse. I live to finesse another day. Now I gotta hold myself accountable. So um they confiscate everything, throw the cuffs on me, escort me out the building, walk me down, walk me downstairs and set me in the police van. And now I'm just in disbelief of what all just took place and
I
curious as
imagine.
to how this thing can play out because nobody knows this is happening. And I could tell these folks ain't finna. It's not gonna be any form of communication. One, because it's a language barrier, and then two, from my culture, I've been taught not to talk to the police whatsoever. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? So, and they ain't bothered to speak to me. So we just riding. We get to a precinct. We go inside. We in that precinct for like 20 minutes, and then they come back and get me. We get back in the van. So I'm like, all right, where we going now? We get to another precinct. It's a little bigger and they throw me in the holding cell with about 8 other Chinese men. And I'm in the holding cell for about 15 minutes before they come get me. And then they take me to the basement of the precinct to do my official interrogation. And this is where things get dramatic because they lock me into this all metal chair that looks like an electric chair. And this chair locked my shins, thighs, waist, chest, and arms all in one place. The only part of my body I could move was my head. So I did my whole interrogation locked in this chair like this here. But by this time, that gave me plenty of time to come up with a good story to finesse them with. So I gave them my fabricated story. I'm assuming they bought it because they brought the transcription over for me to review. I couldn't read a single thing because it's all written in Mandarin, but they said sign it, I signed it. They say thumbprint it, I thumbprint it, and then they released me from the chair. I'm like, all right, bet. We go back upstairs, take my mug shot, get my handprint, and they throw me back in the holding cell. And now I'm just in the holding cell reflecting on everything that's transpired up until this point. Like what I could have did better at the apartment when they first showed up to what I could have said better in the interrogation. Um, and then just hours and hours are passing. My high is starting to come down. Sun is fading. And now I'm starting to get sleepy. So I'm fading in and out of consciousness. Um, Hours pass. They come get me, and they walk me to the lobby of the precinct. The second precinct, and they bring my best of clothes. Tell me to get dressed. I'm like, all right, bet. So I go, guy got dressed. I'm like, okay, cool. See, look, this is what happens when you work with these people. Your energy good. You compliant. You know what I'm saying? Things work out. So I'm sitting there waiting for the next set of orders, and they have me follow them through a door that's behind the front desk. So enter through this door. Now walking down this hall, and now we entering this room. I can only assume that this is some form of evidence room just because I see evidence bags everywhere. You know what I'm saying? No sense of organization or structure. It's just hoarded. It's just it's just stuff everywhere.
Oh,
So in the center of the room is a table, and in the middle of the table is everything that was confiscated from my apartment. So the officer sits down and he weighs the cannabis right up in front of me. Now, this is an interesting phase within the book because as a reader, you're curious to know how much does he actually have? One. Two, when have you ever heard or saw law enforcement weigh whatever they just confiscated from you right in front of you? I thought that was interesting. I never heard or seen nothing like that. So that was interesting. And then three, throughout this whole entire process, 14-day process, I'm here to tell y'all I did 14 days. As you read the book, you have no clue how long you're going to be in this predicament. So with that being said, the only information I really received was messages and signs from my ancestors, my higher powers, my guardian angels, whatever you want to refer to them as. And this was the first sign they gave me and the only live in action sign. The other signs occurred in my dreams. So the officer weighs up the cannabis and it's supposed to be 1.4 grams. Now, for those that partake in cannabis, 1.4 grams isn't a lot. Even if you don't partake in cannabis, we're talking units of measurement. 1.4 grams of anything isn't a lot. But you look at that number, 1.4. Say I had a marker board right here behind me and I drew 1.4 and I took an eraser and just erased the decimal, the point. What number would you see?
14.
Hence the title of the book. Now, did I catch that initially? No,
Oh.
that thing went clean over my head. But that was the very first sign I received. So they put everything on paper and had me sign it. And again, I can't read it, but hey, they say jump, I say how high. I ain't finna sit here and go back and forth with y'all. I'm trying to keep the peace so I can get on up out of here. So we do the interrogation. I mean, they collect everything. They walk me to the van, sit me down in it, and you know what I'm saying? Now we got it. I look at the clock on the radio, it's like 1 o'clock in the morning. I'm like, dang, bro, they arrested me at like 11 something a.m. So I've been in custody all day, ain't ate nothing, ain't drunk nothing. I really ain't been worried about none of that. I'm just trying to figure out how am I gonna get out this situation. So we riding, and about 40, 50 minutes pass, and we arrive at a facility detailed with tall walls and barbed wire. And I was like, oh, we just getting started.
Weren't you scared?
No, nah, just truly in the moment, truly in the moment. And like, so when I was in the first precinct, I was having a conversation with myself. I was like, I don't know how this thing finna play out, and nobody knows this is happening. But when it's all said and done, I know I'm gonna be good.
Okay, but I want to hear a little bit more about prior to the arrest, because you were in China for 6 months before that. So
Yeah.
what was it like to be a foreigner there, and how hard was it to adapt to the customs and the people? And were you able to speak Mandarin? Do you speak it?
EDN. I can speak a little bit of it, but I took it upon myself to start learning. Like once I got accepted for the job, I'm like, I need to start learning this language because I ain't just gonna be out there looking crazy. You know what I'm saying? A whole different world and don't know it's a lick of the language. I felt that was foolish. So I was learning through an app, a little app called Mango, and it's a really great app. You want to? They got multiple languages, hundreds of languages, honestly, and it's the learning style is very different. But if y'all want to learn a language, tap in with Mango, definitely. But I knew just enough to move and groove. And now, as far as having a full in-depth conversation like we having right now, not
No,
happening.
no.
But you could teach in it.
Well, one of the number one rule in our classrooms: no Chinese,
Oh
no
yeah,
Mandarin.
all English. Yeah.
Oh,
I ain't even in the classroom. I ain't got to speak Mandarin. And we had TAs like that were native Chinese people to handle all of that if we did need to communicate something to the children that we couldn't get
Good.
communicated. So
That's good.
yeah,
oh,
so
gee.
prior to the last 14 days, China was the best experience ever. People extremely nice. Uh, I had no issue with no Chinese person while I was out there. It was nothing but peace, love, and prosperity. The best customer service I've ever received, hands down. And they're just, you know what I'm saying, genuine. They're good spirited people. You know what I'm saying? Now, are they knowledgeable of other people and different cultures and all that? No, but we're just as ignorant, you know what I'm saying, as they are.
Hmm.
You know, and we can point. It's really that wasn't no issue.
Could you
Um,
feel a difference between the way people are, the way they behave towards each other,
oh
the
yeah,
customs?
yeah. Now, when it comes to that, yeah, it's definitely different. Personal space they don't have no personal space in China. They'll be right here in your face and you know what I'm
Hmm.
saying, and think nothing. You know what I'm saying, and their
Hmm.
hygiene is something different over there too. They don't wash their hands. They don't really brush their teeth like that. So
Hmm.
that was the biggest thing for me because I'm cleanly. So when I saw the hygiene, I was like, oh, okay. for sure. But I'm like, hey, you know what I'm saying? I'm out here. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But China was lit though. You know what I'm saying? Experiencing Beijing, exploring Beijing, meeting the other foreigners. That was probably the most lit part too. You know what I'm saying? Meeting the other foreigners there. Cause it's like any place in the world I could have met y'all. I met y'all in Beijing, China. It's not easy to get into this. You know what I'm saying? Like you just book a ticket and you just go there. So the fact that we here, hey, I'm interested to know any and everything about you, especially another person of color. Oh, for sure. We out here for real, for real. You know what I'm saying? There ain't too many people from where we from that can say they done walk this land for real, for real. You know what I'm saying? Been fully submerged in it. So China
Yeah.
was lit. The nightlife was lit. The food was amazing. Yeah, China was it was dope. No cap.
I'm curious what lessons you learned during your incarcerations, and talk about your spiritual growth since your experience there in Beijing.
Really, the whole journey to China was me finding myself. Like I said, I played football vast majority of my life. I identified as a student athlete and a football player for a very long time. And once career finally came to an end, I was at a crossroad. Chancellor, who are you? What's next? What we finna do? What do you like to do? What are you good at? What's your purpose? What do you aspire to be? Who do you aspire to be? You know what I'm saying? I have no clue. Don't even know where to start.
You were just
And
out of college.
for sure, but it's like it ain't like I just went to college regularly. I went to college to play football. That's the only reason why I went. I was
Yeah.
all about once that came, any athlete, any former athlete, once that sport and you all about that sport comes to an end, you will either sink or you stay afloat or you gonna sink. You know what I'm saying? I just time and time again with just, you know what I'm saying, growing up and you know what I'm saying, all my peers that I played football with, a lot of them turned to the streets, a lot of them became very successful. Some of them still trying to figure it out. You know what I'm saying? So
Tell
it's a
everybody
process
else, tell everybody where you are in your journey now then. How's it
for
going
sure.
with you? Yeah.
For sure. So like I was asking my damn, what's next for you? What you want to do? How you want? I asked all them questions I was posing myself. Chancellor K. I'm Chancellor K. Jackson, the best-selling author. Chancellor K. Jackson, the football coach, the life coach, the author slash publishing coach, entrepreneur. I own my own publishing company, which all my books are published. I run a service helping aspiring authors. We're publishing other people's books through that same publishing company.
Oh,
I
good.
also got a car rental service. You know what I'm saying? That I'm running as well. So I'm running a couple marathons trying to get established for sure, for sure. You know what I'm saying? A lot of different hats. So just continuing to build on top of this foundation. And it's gonna be exciting to see where I'm at in 10 years for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you coach aspiring authors too, and you help rehabilitate troubled youths, and you coach adults who need help finding new careers or helping them find self-identity or spirituality. Can you talk more in that lane? Tell us more
Yeah.
about that.
So once I published 14 days, and 14 days went crazy. Of course, now you know, I'm getting buzz and everybody want to work with me. And one of my former track coaches, Terrence Wilson, he founded a nonprofit organization back in 2005 called the Human Foundation, uplifting America's youth. And pretty much what he's doing way back then, he was getting kids that are, you know what I'm saying, great athletes that live in, you know what I'm saying, impoverished or, you know what I'm saying, areas and countries, bring them over as foreign exchange students. You know what I'm saying? They'll live with him and like he'll put them through school, of course. And he was a former US Olympic track runner. So, you know what I'm saying, train them in track and then they'll earn scholarships and then, you know what I'm saying, their lives will change forever. So that's how it started. And so once me and him reconnected, you know what I'm saying, he saw I had the book and everything. He was like, oh yeah, we got to make something shake with this organization. We got to, you know what I'm saying, do something with it. I'm like, for sure. Whatever's going to help propel and you know what I'm saying, push this book for sure. I'm all for it. So um, he ended up partnering with another organization that worked with at-risk teens in our county. So kids that ain't got arrested for drugs. You know what I'm saying? Like y'all can either join this program or y'all can do time. What y'all want to do? They said we're gonna join the program. So we partnered with
Good.
that program. We would meet with them after school, like 2 days out of the week, and we would read chapters, you know what I'm saying, bits and pieces, like a chapter for 14 days. And I had discussion questions already pre-written that I came up with, and that was our discussion points. And we essentially used 14 days in Beijing as a part of our lessons to pull our life skills from.
Mm.
And it's a story that
Mhm.
I all can relate to. You know what I'm saying? These kids, 14 all the way up to 18, and done did way more crazy stuff than I did. So it's just like,
Mhm.
it was definitely a dope experience. You know what I'm saying? For sure, for sure. And it
And
was
you're
crazy
learning
for them.
from them. You're learning a lot from them too, right?
I'm talking about these
And
kids are like real addicts, like hardcore drugs, like
mhm. Well, I've heard
hardcore.
you talk about your work ethic and how you have learned to plan ahead and prepare for and seize opportunities. So how did you learn that?
I'm just a opportunist. For
Oh,
real, for real.
Yeah.
okay.
Always hungry, you know what I'm saying? The ultimate underdog. Like my whole life has been, it was just, from football, my very first love and passion, but everything wasn't peak cream when it came to it. I ain't started playing football till 13 years old.
Mm,
Most people, Georgia, been playing football since 4 and 5. So
mhm.
it's a lot of development, you know what I'm saying, in regards to that. So I had a lot of catch to do. And I was able to catch up to speed, but it's still certain parts of the game, you know what I'm saying? I just still needed more development. And but I knew I wanted to play Division I college football as soon as I started playing organized football. And it was only just a process just trying to start on varsity. I wasn't able to start on varsity till my senior year of high school. And then to finish my senior year, I don't have any interest, no college scouts looking at me, nothing whatsoever, but I want to play college football. Well, and my coach is not helping us push our highlight tapes, you know what I'm saying, to
Oh,
market us a program. So I'm like, dang, how am I gonna make this happen? Well, I took it upon myself. I've created a list of schools from D1AA all the way down to NAIA schools. And I hit up every single school. I went to that school's football website, went to that staff directory, and emailed every single person geared towards football. Everybody got an email from me. I'm DMing folks on Twitter, Facebook. I'm creating the opportunity for myself, for sure. Because it's something I want to do. You know what I'm
so you
saying?
taught yourself to be an entrepreneur because of the circumstances. That's pretty incredible.
Yeah.
It's in me, you know what I'm saying? And this, of course, you know what I'm saying, just seeing how my mama was a hustler for sure, for sure. You know what I'm saying? She had her own business. She had two different businesses. She was selling clothes at one point in time out of the trunk of her car. You know what I'm saying? We driving all through south and west side of Atlanta. You know what I'm saying? She'll go to the flea market, load up on all the clothes, then we'll just drive through the south west side of Atlanta, pull up, and she'll just trap it out the car. You know what I'm saying? While we in the back seat. And then it went from that to she started running her own daycare center out of the house. And that was very lucrative. That's we went to London twice that year, everything. Like we was up. So it's like,
Oh,
um,
good.
you know what I'm saying? So it's definitely done, you know what I'm saying, that had people around
Good
me
role
that had a
model.
certain,
Good role
you know what I'm
Yeah.
model,
saying,
your mom. And
always on
how
the
do
honor.
you want to inspire young people of color and for that matter, all young people? What is your message to young people?
My message is it's a message from somebody else. And that person is Nipsey Hussle. Y'all that
Ah,
don't know who Nipsey
mhm.
was.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Of course we know
So
who he
yeah,
is. Yeah.
but so for everybody else that don't know who Nipsey Hussle was a mogul, philanthropist, philosopher, serial entrepreneur, well known for his music and his clothing line. And his message is long-winded, running through this life like it was mine. Never settling, but setting every goal high.
Mm.
One purpose on the path to my own self-destruction or success. But what is a mistake without the lesson? You see, the best teacher in life is your own experience. And none of us know who we are until we fail. Say every person is defined by their reaction to any given situation. So who would you to define you? Someone else or yourself? Whatever you choose, to do, keep your heart to it. Stay strong.
Oh,
Good
that's
message.
that's great. Oh,
Yeah, you have a good
uh,
message.
yeah, that's great for all of us of any age, really. Um, you have a quote on Instagram that says, choosing to be kind is not choosing to be passive. It's choosing to end the cycle of abuse. Can you tell our audience what you mean by that?
Um, just because people will do wrong by you, and you should not let somebody else's mistake or wrongdoing or mishaps hinder you or alter you as an individual. You know what I'm saying? With that being said, don't allow what's going on the outside to affect what's going on the inside. My football coach used to preach that to us every single day going to practice. Because of course, was like, trying to be at practice. It's hot out here. He don't, I don't care. You know what I'm saying? Get over yourself. Get over your feelings. You know what I'm saying? We got to go to work. This is what you want to do. All right, we here. You know what I'm saying? Let's do it by any means necessary. So never get upset when somebody does something wrong to you or does wrong by you. Hey, man, that's a reflection of them. It's not a reflection of you. You continue to be you, and you still be pure, be as kind as you are. And even you can retaliate, you match their energy. What good would that bring? Will it add to the problem? More than likely. More than likely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what is your process when you're writing your books? What's your writing and editing process and your publishing process? Because we know you've created a publishing company, Korleh Publishing. So tell us about the whole process.
Yes. Essentially, we thrive in non-fictional books, but we can tap in with fictional as well. You know what I'm saying? It's really bringing back the core of writing, the KORE of writing, and that's just self-expression. What writing was originally before, you know what I'm saying, became some school assignments, and that's most of the time when I bring up writing to people, they automatically think of a school assignment. Like I'm their professor and I just assigned them this paper that's due at midnight tonight. And it's like, nah, not the case. No, we're not doing that. It's not no curriculum based thing. Like, bro, this is whatever you want it to be, however, you know what I'm saying? You want to tell it for sure. Like it's truly how you want to express yourself. You know what I'm saying? I want this book to be a replica of you. You know what I'm saying? From the language, the tone, everything. You know what I'm saying? It's going to be 100% you all the way through. Because, you know what I'm saying? We are being originality, that's what makes money. Everybody, you trying to fit in, be like this person, be like this person. Like, man, originality is becoming rare nowadays. Because everybody's we live in a society full of followers. So, you know what I'm saying? We just want to back that originality. And for you to, you know what I'm saying, showcase yourself. You are rare, unique soul.
That's so true. That is so true. We are our unique selves. Whoa. Well, Chancellor, what would you like our audience to have as a takeaway today?
To never let no hard time humble you. And I want to pose y'all this question. With where you are in your life right now and everything you got going on, are you chasing a dream or are you fulfilling your purpose? You ain't got to answer me. Just sit there and reflect on it.
Good. Love it.
Wow. Thank you, Chancellor. Our guest today on Late Boomers has been author Chancellor K. Jackson, who wears very many hats, including being a coach for troubled youth and adults looking to find new perspectives on their lives. He's an educator, publisher, entrepreneur, and so much more. You can reach Chancellor at chancellorkjackson.com and also at Linktr.eeKorleh, that Linktr.eeKorleh. Thank you.
Yeah, and we want to remind our listeners that we now have our own YouTube channel, Late Boomers Podcast. Please subscribe to that. Also, please subscribe to the podcast on your favorite platforms so that you don't miss any of our weekly episodes. And follow us on Instagram at Late Boomers and at I am Kathy Worthington and at I am Mary Elkins. We hope that our episode today entertained and inspired you and can light the path to the life you are meant to live. And thank you, Chancellor, so much for being with us today.
Appreciate y'all for having me. And big shout out to everyone that tuned in for the whole interview. You're the rare MVP.
Thank you for joining us on Late Boomers, the podcast that is your guide to creating a third act with style, power, and impact. Please visit our website and get in touch with us at lateboomers.biz. If you would like to listen to or download other episodes of Late Boomers, go to ewnpodcastnetwork.com.
This podcast is also available on Spotify, Apple Podcast, and most other major podcast sites. We hope you make use of the wisdom you've gained here and that you enjoy a successful third act with your own style, power, and impact.